The report's been running for 4 years now, and it's a collaboration between us and Worldwide Works. So it's just been a great initiative from the beginning, and every single year we release this research document on how social media is performing in South Africa. So it's everything from the consumer usage of social media, the key numbers, how many people are on each network, what content is working, who are the influencers, all the way to corporate usage through a survey that we conduct. And this year we've had 106 responses from South African corporates. So it's really like a full-scale research piece into South African social media. It's everything you need to know about the landscape. There have been massive shifts in the last couple of years, which is really interesting. I mean, Facebook has held its own, and it is the biggest single social network in the country. But there's a lot of niche networks coming up. We've seen, for example, in the last 12 months, the introduction of Instagram, especially in the mass market. Massive adoption from people, even with low-end smartphones. They want to be a part of this new social thing. And Instagram is now the new cool kids network. And we've got almost 3 million users on Instagram. Obviously, Facebook still leads the way. They've got 13 million people. Twitter's holding strong with about 7.5 million. And you know, the other networks also holding strong. LinkedIn, for example, I think close to 5 million people now. So it's become very mainstream in the last couple of years. I think IMs have done better than they ever have done before. So we source public data from the platforms, and IMs are private. So we haven't included IMs in the social media report per se. But from kind of third-party data, WhatsApp is one of the most used IMs across Africa. It's incredible the kind of traction it has. In terms of the smaller platforms like MXit, 4 or 5 years ago it was the #1 network in Africa, and now it's got less than 3 million monthly active users. And these stats were from December 2014, by the way. So probably we're looking at less than 800,000 users now, possibly even less. They've just kind of plummeted completely due to who knows what, bad strategy, bad management, bad decisions. There's a lot of theories floating around, but fact of the matter is that people have just left the platform. They're not interested in using it anymore. Facebook as well, interestingly enough. But corporates are kind of segmenting their strategies. So they're using YouTube in a different way. We see, for example, how in the last 12 months we've had a lot of commercialization of social media. Big budgets have started arriving in the social space. So what companies tend to do now is they will, for example, upload TV adverts directly onto YouTube, use that as a pre-roll, and put massive ad spend behind it. So some of the most watched YouTube ads from brands of the year are just uploaded TV commercials. I think the creativity and the quality of content isn't quite there, even though the budgets have sort of matched. And Facebook as well, we've seen kind of a commercialization, a lot of money being spent on poor quality posts, poor quality content that would never get the kind of engagement it gets if it weren't for the budgets being spent. So I think there is a need to go back into the roots of why social media grew the way it did. You know, people want authenticity, they want relevance. From a brand space, they want resonance, you know, and people want to care about the things they talk about. And I think brands have sort of lost that recently, unfortunately. So it's time to take that back again. I think a lot of marketers are going for the biggest reach, and they've got the budget to boot, so it's very easy just to put a campaign out on Facebook and get the analytics. The other side of the coin is programmatic has really been adopted quite heavily in South Africa. So a lot of the biggest brands are using programmatic targeting and ads to automatically segment audiences. So you can already start out with a big reach, and it'll focus in on the target market that automatically is optimized for your campaign goals. So I think that's almost the future of marketing, where you don't even need media planners anymore. The media plans itself, and it optimizes itself through digital analytics. Absolutely not. I would say the networks have a lot of saturation across the board for the higher LSM market in South Africa. So your high-end professionals will be on LinkedIn, they'll be on Facebook, they'll be on Twitter, they may even be on Instagram. I think it's more around the kind of content that's pushed out in each platform. It's very, very different on Facebook compared to LinkedIn. Facebook, for example, has become more of a publisher of general news stories and what's trending, which is interesting because a few years ago it was specifically more for personal stuff. You get updates from your friends. So now brands are publishing their own content. Brands obviously have become publishers, but in many ways they're using these social platforms as a tool for getting traffic in. So with that kind of theory, it doesn't matter if you're on LinkedIn or Facebook, as long as you have great content for your audience, you're going to get the traffic that you want back to your site, where you can convert it to the kind of goals that you're looking to get. So for example, LinkedIn, it's no longer just a database of CVs, right? It's become this content network where influencers can actually showcase what they're good at. Through really high quality articles. I think LinkedIn content is the highest quality content in the entire social ecosystem because it's still quite niche, quite small, and as you say, quite professional. But in the last 12 months, we've seen LinkedIn go a bit more mass market actually. The biggest growth has been from the entry-level people. So it's no longer the executives, the CEOs, the managers, it's the admin staff, it's the clerical staff that are joining it, and they're seeing it as a way to kind of create their own brand, create their own kind of content platform, and also, fish around because there's a lot of people doing headhunting on LinkedIn. So it just increases your exposure. I think YouTube and Facebook are going to be in direct competition, and YouTube didn't quite realize that a few years ago. So Facebook right now is rolling out new video ad products that are directly designed to compete with TV budgets. Literally, they're using the same metrics of reach and frequency that TV ad planners use. And who knows, they might even roll out a GRP-based system. So basically, it'll be very easy for a TV marketer to say, you know what, let's allocate onto Facebook. They've got the reach and the budget. And YouTube hasn't quite done that yet. I think a lot of marketers are using YouTube in the wrong way, like I said. But Facebook is where the real reach lies. They've got 1 billion daily active users around the world every day. So it's an incredible amount of daily usage. YouTube can't quite match that. And at the same time, I think it's going to be an interesting way, the way it plays out. The way you engage with content is also fundamentally different. It's interesting because the different platforms have different ways of discovering content, right? So you can typically have a discovery via a newsfeed, so where you have content tailored towards your experience and towards your preferences. Or you go out and you actually discover and search for content. So YouTube has always been geared towards more historical content because it's got better searching functionality. With Facebook, if you miss an update, by the time it's a week old, chances are you'll never see it again. So that's a fundamental difference in the platforms. And I think Facebook is looking at tackling that because even for brands, content has a lifetime value. And if a brand spends a lot of money producing a piece of content, they want to extend that lifetime value as much as possible. So that means if it's older than a day, they still want to get the value out of it in terms of traffic, in terms of views, of engagement. So I think Facebook's next strategy is how do they make it more of a historically searchable platform for discoverability. It's going to be interesting. The report has been just published about a week or two back, and it's available from either us, Ornico Group, or Worldwide Works. So just go to the relevant websites, email us, and we'll let you know. It's available at a cost. Obviously, it's not a free report, but it's packed with all the insights, all the findings that any marketing manager, CMO, social media manager, digital strategist might actually want about the market. It's very powerful.